I'm going to assume, now I could be wrong on this, so bear with me, I am going to assume that Vince McMahon did not have any XFL duties this week, unlike last week, because those shows weren't half as bad as it was this week, but who am I kidding? Monday Night Raw is bad almost every single week, but I'm going to assume that Vince McMahon did not have any XFL duties this week, because outside of the King of the Ring tournament with Ricochet and Drew McIntyre, and then an impromptu match with Cedric Alexander and Cesaro, that this episode of Monday Night Raw was downright awful. We're going to go over it all right here for Monday Night Raw on Off the Script. Is this what you want? This fucking foliage? Is this what you want? Mr. Dips? Is this what you want? Me standing in front of EC3 buying designer coats? Is this what you want? Me sitting in some hipster hotel in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, fluffing pillows? Is this what you want? I don't believe this. This graffiti art, hipster hotels, avocado toast. All I want is a fucking Guinness. An ice cold Guinness. What the hell does that mean? Oh, this is what you wanted. This is your Monday Night Raw review right here on Off the Script. I messed up. Clearly, Salrex made me a new layout for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And here I am continuing to use the old layout. Clearly, Brock Lesnar is no longer the Universal Champion. Clearly, the Revival are no longer Tag Team Champions on Monday Night Raw. And I usually say, attention to detail. But I just don't care. I just don't care. Because WWE certainly doesn't care. Their show tonight was god-awful. God-awful. Only saved by Drew McIntyre versus Ricochet and Cedric Alexander versus Cesaro on tonight's show. I wonder where all these people who came at me and attacked me, who claimed that I don't like anything, I don't enjoy the show for what it is, blah, 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 blah. Where were all these people that came at me a couple of months ago when the OC got back together and they attacked Ricochet? I claimed on social media, hey Vince, it's 3 years too late for this group to be a dominant group in WWE. That's exactly what I stated. People shit all over me. People were claiming, oh, he's too negative. He's too negative. He doesn't like the show. Right? Where are you people now? Where are you people now? You are as quiet as a church mouse on this Monday night, early Tuesday morning. The OC looked exactly like I always seen the OC. Absolute losers on Monday night. Where are you? Huh? I don't hear you. Gallows and Anderson are a joke. AJ Styles, sadly, is a joke. I don't get it. I don't give a shit if Braun Strowman is the size of 10 Andre the Giants. There is no way a group of 3 men that Mr. McMahon and Mr. Heyman put on television for us to believe that they were a dominant group. Tag team champions, United States champion, they were dominating TV, they were all over the show, right? What happened? Now they're right back to where I always thought they were, at the bottom of the barrel. You messed up. 3 years too late on pushing these guys as a dominant force in WWE. All in light. All for the sake of Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman. And on top of that, Braun Strowman and Seth Rollins, who is a makeshift tag team, which you're building an entire pay-per-view around in the middle of September. I don't get it. Nice 5-year contracts you got there, fellas. Hope you're happy, because I knew exactly what was coming. I don't even work for the company. And I knew, I was like Miss Theo. I was like a fortune teller. But I'm not going to take your money. I'm only going to give you the shit that you want to hear. For free. 5-year contracts. I hope all 3 of you are happy. You got the big house. You got the boats, the yachts, the vacations. Right? You got all the money in the world to provide for your family for 10 lifetimes. The OC. You got the hot Asian wife if you're Carl Anderson. Right? But I guess that's all that matters. What a bunch of idiots. Then you got WWE's tag team division. WWE's tag team division. I'm going to go over this again this week. Nobody wants to listen to me. Nobody wants to listen to me. Your tag team title match at Clash of Champions is a tag team title match between 2 teams who are not legitimate tag teams. How is this okay by anybody? How are you okay with this decision? And then the funny thing is, WWE tries to make sense of a team of Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode. And there Bobby Roode cut a ridiculous promo. Yes, Sarah, I don't want people to go out there and think that this team was made up on a whim. This team wasn't made up on a whim, he says. Mr. Roode, I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but yes, it was. You mean to tell me that this was in the plans all along for you and Dolph Ziggler? Give me a break. WWE absolutely shit all over their tag team division, and you can look at the Clash of Champions tag team title match to come to that easy assumption. And when AEW has their tag team matches and their tag team division represented on TNT in just a couple of weeks, what's going to happen then? Is WWE going to get on board with tag team wrestling because they see AEW doing it right? I'm sure that will be the case because WWE is now in the boat of following the leader. They aren't the innovator anymore, and clearly WWE needs some help, or better yet, some inspiration on how to go about tag team wrestling. Sasha Banks tonight will go over her promo and why I think they've already dropped the ball on Sasha Banks and the King of the Ring. Something that we were all worried about seems to be the highlights of these shows, and has been for the last couple of weeks. Who would have thought that one? We're going to go over it all right here on Off the Script. This is Monday Night Raw for OTS. Thank you guys so very much for joining me here. That was just a brief synopsis of my quick thoughts on Monday Night Raw. Make sure you guys follow me on social media, man. At JD from NY206. That's on Twitter and Instagram. Please do so, man. We are nearing 28,000 followers on Twitter, I think. 28 or 29, I don't know. I think it's 28. Either way, thank you guys so very much for following me on Twitter. At JD from NY206 on Instagram as well. And we're nearing 7,600 followers on Instagram. Hit that subscribe button down below and turn on that bell for all notifications, man. If you guys want the unadulterated truth about what you see Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday with Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, you're going to come right here and listen to Off the Script. Patreon.com/JD from NY206 if you guys want to show some extra appreciation for what I do here on a weekly basis. That's Patreon.com/JD from NY206. If you missed my videos this week, man, it's been a very slow weekend, and I'm happy that I actually got to rest. Look at him! What is Toad doing on a Monday Night Raw video? I'll tell you in a second, because it's coming, man. It's coming. Off the Script this weekend, man. Vince McMahon set to step away from the WWE. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Clearly, if tonight was any indication, he's there 100%. Full influence over the show. Moxley is missing All Out. It might be a blessing in disguise for AEW. I go over that and why. and Super Mario Maker 2-man story mode. Look at him. For all the OGs, premiere on Wednesday, man, 3 p.m. Set your notifications. It's going to be epic. Nintendo, Toad, Luigi, and Mario are back on the channel, man. So look forward to that on Wednesday. And if you missed Off the Script, I'll leave you guys easy access to all 3 of those videos right down in the comments section of this very video. And I'm going to pin it at the very top, man. Tonight's podcast brought to you by my friends over at The Ridge. Ridge.com/script. You guys are going to use code SCRIPT at checkout for 10% off. And I got The Ridge. I don't know why you guys haven't gotten yourself The Ridge yet. I use it everywhere I go. I use it every day, man, because it keeps everything that I use daily simple. Lifetime guarantee. The wallet is so overbuilt that they did not hesitate to include a lifetime guarantee. If anything happens to that wallet, hit them up and they're going to replace it absolutely free. RFID blocking. You guys can breathe easy because your cards will be surrounded by the metal body of this wallet, protecting them from even the most powerful RFID chip readers. Nobody's going to be stealing your identity. Nobody's going to be stealing your credit card numbers. Nobody's going to be doing any hacking of any sorts with The Ridge. One of the main reasons why I use it every single day. It is completely functional and slim. I have my debit, credit, and my ID, man. I don't carry a lot at all. It is functional and slim. It holds 1 to 12 cards without stretching out. The slim wallet is ideal for carrying business cards, which I also carry. Sometimes not, but most of the time I do, and I do remember. Business cards, credit cards, debit cards, bills, and the outside notch allows you to push out the cards for easy access, man. It is so beautiful. So beautiful. Integrated money clip. The metal money clip allows you to clip several bills inside your wallet, available with a cash strap as well, or a money clip, whichever way you guys want to go. So you can do either one of those 2 options, and it's ultimate in durability, man. The aluminum plating and the interchangeable elastic screws made from 6061 T6 aluminum and gunmetal, man. It is absolutely beautiful and 100% durable. I love it. Go get yourself one. The holidays are going to be here before you know it. Use our code for 10% off. That is ridge.com/script. Use code SCRIPT at checkout for 10% off. Someone that I'm happy to see back on television is Sasha Banks. And can we just say, and can we all be in the same boat in saying that Michael Cole's It's Boss Time is one of the worst pro wrestling commentary calls in the history of the sport. I'm just letting it be known right now. It is awful. I can't stand it. I don't know why he thinks that sounds appealing to one's ears. Anyway, it's not about Michael Cole and his terrible commentary on this show. It's about Sasha Banks. She came out, and there were some boos. Overall, the crowd in New Orleans was not good at all in the Smoothie King Center. I think they all went out for smoothies instead of wanting to watch a wrestling show on a Monday night, which I don't blame them. Make mine some mixture of banana, strawberry, and blueberry, please. No whipped cream. And Sasha Banks came out, and she was in the ring. There was a Becky chant. Becky chants, let's go Becky, Becky. Sasha Banks said for 4 months she was gone and out of sight, out of mind, minding her own business, not talking to anybody. Yet everyone kept talking about Sasha Banks. She went over all of the reports. And I don't know why people were saying this was true. Oh, you should give Ryan Satin some credit. Listen, Sasha Banks she didn't really go into detail, but she went into vague detail about the hissy fits that were thrown at WrestleMania. She said people said about her that she threw a fit. I did, she said. She said people said about her that she was crying at WrestleMania in the women's locker room on the locker room floor. She said, I did. She said people said about her that she took her ball and went home. You're damn right I did. She said it wasn't for the reasons they assume. Wasn't for the reasons that people were reporting and assuming. I went over this in great detail. I have a source who is very well known to the entire situation, and I can back up with 100% fact that whatever Ryan Satin reported about the hissy fit and the crying and the temper tantrums were 100% bullshit. If you guys want my thoughts on everything that Sasha Banks talked about here and the real reason why this woman went away, you guys can go watch Off the Script, and I'll link it right down in the comment section with the rest of the stuff that you guys might have missed. Now, she says, yes, you're damn right I did, when people said she took her ball and went home. She says it wasn't for the reasons they assume. I was relegated to a WrestleMania tag team match that she cared absolutely nothing about, defending tag team titles that meant even less, while Becky Lynch got to headline WrestleMania against Ronda Rousey. She said she went on a couple of amazing vacations with her WrestleMania paycheck. She said Becky's paycheck was a lot larger for main eventing. She said she came back to work and she had a plan. She said she waited for the perfect moment, which is when Natalya was standing in the ring 2 weeks ago. She said she gave her a big hug and lied to her face when she told her that her dad would be proud of her. So then she brought up Becky, and out comes Becky, perfect cue, right on cue, to save the day. She then said now she is the center of attention yet again, like she rightfully deserves. She said she is the standard of the women's division, and she is the talk of the women's division again. She said she deserves all the glory, and out comes Natalya, wearing bandages around her arm, and she tackled Sasha to the ground, and there was a big melee, a big scuffle, hair pulling, fists flying. A bunch of agents and referees tried to break this thing up at ringside before their match later on in the evening here on tonight's show. WWE dropped the ball on this, man. And I'm not going to blame Sasha Banks at all for any of this. Sasha Banks had my attention. Sasha Banks had my attention. I was on the edge of my seat, wanting and waiting for this woman to go into greater detail about why she was actually out and why she stayed home. You only get one opportunity. You only get one moment after a woman in Sasha Banks that's been away for 4 months. 1 moment to let everybody know why you were gone and the reasons for why you were gone and why you were upset. WWE dropped the ball. If this is all that they had for Sasha Banks after 1 week in which you could have wrote anything better than this, WWE let everybody down. I mean this wholeheartedly. This promo could have been so much more, and it ended up being the tamest promo that Sasha Banks could have possibly ever done in this situation. And I don't even think the boos were as big as WWE was expecting here. That could be New Orleans and the shit crowd that they were tonight. But Sasha Banks really didn't come off as the boss. Sasha Banks didn't come off as quote-unquote ratchet and that dirty heel that we're expecting her to be upon her return. You clearly seen and you undoubtedly felt that the ball and chain was on Sasha Banks tonight. Because if that woman went out there and was able to tell her story on why she went out of the WWE for 4 months, this is not the promo that we would have gotten. They dropped the ball on all of this already. And I don't want to say it's Sasha Banks' fault, but I am losing interest in Sasha Banks, and I'm losing interest in this feud with Becky Lynch already, just by this promo alone. You went into no detail about why you were out. If WWE gave this woman bullet points of what to do and what to say, and they brought more real life into this entire storyline of why Sasha Banks was out, why she was on vacation with Mikaze, why she was on vacation with Kalisto and his wife, why she didn't give a shit about being back in the WWE at all. The sit-downs with Vince McMahon that failed, which ultimately she did come back, but you needed to go into greater detail about why you left after WrestleMania, why you were upset, why WWE, for 4 years, treated you like garbage. Matches with the Riot Squad every single week. Tag team championships promised. We won them, and then WWE screws. If they brought some sort of CM Punk life work shoot into this thing, my God, we would have been looking at a vastly different promo. And a Sasha Banks that everybody would be hanging on to more than they are doing right now as far as this storyline goes. This was tame. And WWE, clearly you felt that they put the ball and chain, the handcuffs on Sasha Banks, and that is not good in this type of storyline. It fizzled out already. Because Sasha Banks has given us no reason as to why she is back and why she is standing here after 4 months absent off WWE television. She is the flag bearer for the women's division. She is, what'd she say? She is the talk of the women's division. She is the standard of the women's division. We know this already. All of us that have wanted you to be back know this already. You have to go into detail about why you are that, which she did not. Why you were gone when we all know that you're that, you didn't. There was no detail here. And WWE, again, I'm going to say it, dropped the ball on it. Natalya did not need to come out in this moment. Nobody gives a shit about Natalya. Natalya is channel changing. Nobody cares about Natalya. Natalya is a pawn in this. She was there merely to set up a heel turn for Sasha Banks. Nobody gives a shit about Natalya. We all want to listen to Sasha Banks. Why she was out in that moment was a complete mishandling of this entire storyline. Drop the ball. I would have not put the handcuffs on Sasha Banks on this evening. Now you know why I said a couple of weeks ago that Sasha Banks needed to go the silent route. At this point, if this was the best that they came up with for Sasha Banks, I would have rather not heard from her at all. Disappointing to say the least. So they got broken up. They separated, both Natalya, the referees did, and Sasha Banks, and that was it. That was pretty much it. Nothing too exciting there. The Street Profits hyped the rest of Raw, King of the Ring, and a tag team turmoil match, which was a complete disaster. I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to say it every single week as long as we see the Street Profits on Monday Night Raw. The more I see the Street Profits on Monday Night Raw, the more I don't want to see them on Monday Night Raw. If this is the best that you have for the Street Profits, get them off the show. They're adding no value to the show. They're not entertaining. They're actually becoming cringe. And I hate the fact that I'm saying that because they are fantastic in NXT. This is a clear example of how NXT differentiates from the main roster. They don't know what is going on. You're going to have some idiot say, oh, well, they're bringing out their charisma on the main roster. Yeah, but they have all the charisma in the world on NXT. WWE is taking this to cringe-like levels of epic proportion, and this is not what I want to see out of Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins. If you go back and watch NXT, right before the Street Profits and the Undisputed Era had their tag team title match at TakeOver Toronto, if you go back and watch that contract signing between Angelo Dawkins, Montez Ford, Kyle O'Reilly, and Bobby Fish, you will see the Montez Ford that I want to see on the main roster, not this circus of a Street Profits act in front of Vince McMahon. I'm sorry. The more I see them, the more I don't want to see them on Monday night. Ricochet versus Drew McIntyre, King of the Ring, first round match. This was awesome. Absolutely awesome. Ricochet wins in 23 minutes. When I said a couple weeks ago, when Ricochet and everybody else was announced for the tournament, and we got that Cedric Alexander versus Drew McIntyre match that came out of nowhere, where Cedric sold the Claymore kick in the most epic way possible. That match, I said it from that Monday Night Raw review, that match needs to be the standard for all King of the Ring matches moving forward. And I have to give WWE props here. The tournament is, right now, the best thing on television. The tournament is actually the one thing that's carrying these shows on a weekly basis, and that is pretty much it. Seth Rollins ain't carrying these shows. Braun Strowman ain't carrying these shows. The OC ain't carrying these shows. Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan, that's another thing carrying these shows. Right now, the two most interesting things on WWE television are the King of the Ring tournament and Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan and the mystery attacker. Who attacked Roman Reigns? Everything else is falling flat on its face. I want to say Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks, but after tonight, my interest has been cut in half. Pretty much. 23 minutes these guys went, man. This was an excellent match. Excellent match. And this needs to continue. I appreciate WWE giving the time necessary to tell a story in the King of the Ring tournament. I cannot even begin to tell you. When you see matches like this happen in a tournament, it raises the prestige of not only the tournament, but everybody involved is showing you how important it is that they win and advance to the next round. This is one of those moments. This is one of those matches. Every single match that goes this limit is showing you how important the tournament is and how prestigious it is and how much these guys legitimately care. You can't tell a story in 3 minutes. You can't have a King of the Ring tournament match end in 3 minutes. So Sami Zayn losing to Cedric Alexander in 3 minutes goes to show you that WWE is actually punishing Sami Zayn for whatever reason, because every other match in this tournament has went at least 15 minutes max. And I appreciate that, because the story in this thing is being told through the matches themselves. And I love it. I thought Drew McIntyre was going to win this thing. I thought Drew McIntyre was going to win the entire tournament. Drew McIntyre, my brother said it best tonight, is ending up like a Bray Wyatt, old Bray Wyatt. He's ending up like a Samoa Joe. He does a lot of talking and never gets the big win. He never gets the job done. And everybody had him pegged to win this tournament. Everybody. Podcasters that I listen to picked Drew McIntyre to go to the finals and be King McIntyre. Clearly, WWE caught wind of this. There's no explanation for any of this whatsoever outside of WWE caught wind of this. And in typical WWE fashion, if the majority of everybody who is very cynical of the product, who is very critical and just overly critiquing everything that they do, if they get wind that the majority of everybody in that realm is picking someone else, heavily over someone else, they're going to go with the most unpredictable way to just troll you. Drew McIntyre was everybody's pick. WWE normally gets their cocks hard in proving you wrong. Oh, everybody thought Drew was going to win. Well, we'll show them. We're going to give Ricochet the big win tonight, and we're going to throw everybody's tournament brackets off. So Kevin Owens is no longer in the tournament. Drew McIntyre is no longer in the tournament. So what's going to happen? My idea of Shane McMahon plugging himself into the finals is still a thing in this tournament. Just think about this, folks. It could end up being Baron Corbin and Elias at the end of this entire thing at Clash of Champions. Just imagine that. I'll throw that out there in the universe, folks. You deal with that as it comes. I don't know. I don't want to give anybody some unknown disease by that thought alone, but it's possible. It's possible. Now, I'm thinking that with Ricochet advancing here over Drew McIntyre, I'm thinking of certain ways that we could have this thing end. It looks like, I don't think Samoa Joe is getting past Ricochet. Samoa Joe beat Ricochet. Oh, actually, no. Ricochet beat Samoa Joe for the United States Championship. And I think that Ricochet is going to get another victory over Samoa Joe. It's going to end up being Cedric Alexander and Ricochet in the semifinals of the Monday Night Raw side. That's the only thing that really makes sense. I'm thinking to myself, if they're using this to build around one guy, You got to get everybody involved. I don't like the fact that, they're using the tournament to build around one guy. Well, why not build around multiple guys? Ricochet could be one of those multiple guys. I'm thinking if Ricochet got past Drew and everybody thought Drew was going to win, more than likely Ricochet is going to end up in the finals of the tournament. He has nothing to do with AJ Styles anymore. It looks like Braun Strowman is mixing up with the OC and AJ Styles. I have no idea what we're going to get as far as the United States Championship is concerned at Clash of Champions. Seth Rollins is wrestling twice, and we have Braun Strowman wrestling twice. I don't know how that's going to end up. I really don't. Don't know where the United States Championship ends up. So, I'm thinking that WWE does Ricochet in the finals, and what about this? Ali. You got superhero versus superhero in the finals of the King of the Ring tournament. And those two guys on pay-per-view, you give those guys 20 minutes, that could be a match of the year candidate if they allow them to go out there and do what I know both of those guys can do. But this was awesome. Ricochet was fighting from behind most of this match, and he ended up winning with a top rope 630 for a clean victory. This was awesome. I recommend you guys go back and watch. This is probably the only positive outside of Cedric and Cesaro on this particular episode of Monday Night Raw. And Drew McIntyre's push seems to be dead. He is no longer a top-tier heel on this brand. Don't know what they're doing with him. They've dropped the ball with Drew McIntyre to a point where right now he is in the same boat as Samoa Joe, and that's not a good boat to be in whatsoever because he does not look credible at all. We had a Braun Strowman and Seth Rollins interview backstage that was conducted a week ago. Sarah Schreiber interviewed both of them. She asked about the title defense at Clash of Champions for the Tag Team Championships and how Seth will have to defend both of his titles at Clash because every title is defended at the pay-per-view. Braun Strowman was preoccupied with Seth's Universal title. He was staring directly at it, and he was not looking at Seth Rollins whatsoever. Braun said finally they will defend their tag team titles against anyone, but he asked who Seth Rollins is going to defend the Universal title against. And Seth says that they have a talented locker room. Yes, so talented and so much talent back there that they're building an entire pay-per-view around Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman and having both of these guys wrestle twice in the same evening. So much talent that we got double doses of Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman. Great job there, WWE. Great job. Now, Seth then asked Braun if he's challenging for the Universal Championship. Braun said they just won the titles last week, so he wants to make sure that he and Rollins are on the same page. Partner, of course I'm challenging you for the Universal Championship. So Seth, like a dummy, like an idiot, says, I don't back down from a fight, so challenge accepted. Great. So he's not even thinking. I don't know how this makes sense. Yes, he's a fighting champion, but how am I supposed to be excited about this when WWE really didn't do anything to get me excited about it to begin with? And he is the tag team champion here in this case. So you're automatically bringing the Universal Championship into the picture, and you're going to kind of, I guess, get that title in the middle of what you guys got going on for the tag team championships, which goes back to the reason that I mentioned last week. Why give them the tag team championships to begin with? Why? It makes absolutely no sense if the only thing that matters is the Universal Championship. By that announcement alone, you rendered the tag team championships utterly useless in this entire thing. You used the tag team titles to merely get Braun Strowman in a match with Seth Rollins, and by the way, it's a match that has zero interest from anybody. Anybody. They had a graphic already queued up. Title match was made for Clash of Champions. So at that point, not only did WWE render the tag team titles useless, they gave us a main event at Clash of Champions, which might end up being one of the most boring Universal Championship matches, one of the most uninteresting Universal Championship matches of the entire year. And then I have people on social media fucking coming at me. Oh, all you do is complain. Why don't you give it a chance? Give what a chance? I've given Braun Strowman opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to prove me wrong. I was actually on Braun Strowman's side when WWE was not on his side. I lobbied for either Joe at Great Balls of Fire or Braun Strowman at No Mercy to beat Brock Lesnar. And neither one of those outcomes happened. So I'm supposed to believe that Braun Strowman now is Universal Championship material. I'm supposed to get behind Braun Strowman because he's in a match with Seth Rollins. Oh, why don't you give it a shot? Seth Rollins could bring Braun Strowman to a great match. Braun Strowman's been in the ring with AJ Styles 2 weeks in a row, and we haven't gotten anything close to a good match. What makes you think that Seth Rollins is going to do better than AJ Styles? Then people have the balls to argue with me that Braun Strowman is like Brock Lesnar. Oh, Brock Lesnar's had a great match with Daniel Bryan, and Brock Lesnar had a great match with Seth Rollins, but Brock Lesnar is a professional wrestler. Braun Strowman is not. You're comparing Braun Strowman to Brock Lesnar. You're disrespecting Brock Lesnar at that point. You mean to tell me that Braun Strowman should be looked at in the same vein as Brock Lesnar? Just shut up at that point. You made yourself look like a complete fucking idiot. This match will be boring. This match is uninteresting. And the fact that the tag team titles were used as a catalyst to get us this boring match is disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful. Miz vs. Baron Corbin. King of the Ring first round match. I can honestly say this was the worst King of the Ring first round match. But the outcome was correct. Miz was in the middle of the ring. Touted his resume of title wins and obviously how to plug Miz and Mrs. Said in his 13-year career, people always ask what he wants. The answer is simple. I want it all, he says. He said these are the first steps to becoming King Awesome. Yeah, King Awesome. King changed the channel every time Miz is on. Corbin came out. I still don't know what Baron Corbin is. He looks like he just finished a 2-hour workout at the gym. Don't know what he is. He's a maitre d' at Chili's. He wants to show off his rent-a-Corvette. He wants to wear Breitling and IWC and Rolex watches. And then he comes to the ring in sneakers, black jeans, and a tight tank top. I don't know what he is. We went from the lone wolf. We went from rocker to pretty boy who wants to wear watches and grab girls in his rent-a-Corvette. What is he? I don't know. Might be the simple fact that I haven't gotten behind Baron Corbin because I don't know what the fuck he is. But King Corbin does have a nice ring to it. God forbid. Corbin wins in 10 minutes in the worst King of the Ring first round match. Miz surprised Corbin with a skull-crushing finale for a near fall. Corbin rolled to the floor. Miz threw him back in the ring. Then springboarded at him. Corbin caught him with a end of days out of nowhere for the win. Corbin wins. This was pretty obvious and pretty predictable and the right outcome, even though I don't care for either man. The Miz babyface run has been awful. The Miz is awful as a babyface. The guy needs to go back to a heel. His moveset sucks. His moveset has absolutely no oomph behind it. It has no intensity behind it whatsoever. And I just cannot get behind this babyface Miz who just bought a $6.4 million mansion. So, you know, he must be doing pretty well for himself. I'm over here making YouTube videos, and the Miz could be mediocre for the rest of his career and afford $6.4 million worth of a mansion in Hollywood. Great. Doesn't negate the fact that he's fucking terrible as a babyface. Corbin wins in 10 minutes. Pretty obvious, pretty predictable. Now we got Baron Corbin versus Cedric Alexander for the quarterfinals of the King of the Ring tournament. So we move on to Bayley. Poor Bayley. Bayley versus Nikki Cross. I don't know why this match was happening. Don't know why this needed to happen on this show. Don't know why we still have a wild card rule. Don't know why Bayley is getting these non-existent reactions, but then again, I can kind of figure out why Bayley's getting these non-existent reactions. Bayley versus Nikki Cross was merely put on this show to fill 5 minutes of TV time. And that's all it was. SmackDown Women's Champion appearing on Raw. No sign of Charlotte, who she's fighting at the Clash of the Champions pay-per-view. Nikki Cross is a tag team champion with Alexa Bliss. She's in this thing losing because, God forbid they lose with Alexa there. Nikki Cross, without Alexa there, loses. In no way, shape, or form can Alexa Bliss come off as a loser on WWE TV. But I'm glad that we didn't see her on this show. Listen. Bayley and Nikki Cross, yes, it didn't need to happen, but does WWE think before they do anything? And this is why I don't understand why people yell at me. All you do is complain, JD. Just enjoy the show for what it is. If you enjoy having your stupidity or your intelligence, insulted, and if you enjoy WWE acting as if you are stupid, then by all means enjoy the show. But the wild card rule needs to go away. I don't give a shit about any wild card rule. It needs to die. They need to go back to a dedicated roster split, and there needs to be some sort of shakeup, aka draft, because these shows are downright horrendous. If anyone in WWE had a brain before booking this match, they would have realized that this doesn't make sense. Am I to believe that with Sasha Banks back on Monday Night Raw and Bayley in the Monday Night Raw women's locker room, am I to believe that Bayley and Sasha Banks did not have any type of interaction whatsoever? Sasha Banks left her tag team partner after WrestleMania for 4 months. You mean to tell me that Sasha Banks or Bayley would not have any interaction at all after this woman was gone for 4 months? Did nobody think of that? I certainly did. Or I might be thinking a little bit too hard. I might be thinking a little bit too much in depth for the amount of people writing this show. That's what I'm thinking about. This was a complete waste of time. Bayley is getting non-reactions. Have you ever thought about why Bayley's getting non-reactions? And it's sad because Bayley doesn't deserve non-reactions. WWE fucked Bayley so badly that now they're trying to pick up the pieces, and it's just not working. And I don't want to say turn Bayley heel because they're already doing that with Sasha Banks. But it looks like the only way to get any type of interest in Bayley is if we see the hugger die. And we go to a punk rock or just emo version of Bayley. Because it ain't working. Bayley's getting these reactions, and it's all WWE's fault. You've buried Bayley for so many years that now all of a sudden you want us to look at her as SmackDown Women's Champion, and it's just not working. New Orleans was terrible tonight, but it's the same reaction every single week to Bayley. Something needs to be done. And when you look at Bayley's reaction from the crowd and the audience, that's all you need to know going into Clash of Champions. That belt is coming off of her. Bayley kept that SmackDown Women's Championship warm for Charlotte Flair. And then at that point, where they go with the women's division, I don't know. Because at that point, Charlotte would have beaten everybody on the women's division already. And that would leave her with no challenge on SmackDown Live. The women's division on SmackDown Live is right now in the worst state I think it's ever been. And that's WWE's fault. WWE is to blame for that. Bayley doesn't deserve this. Something needs to be done. But then again, like I said, WWE has only themselves to blame for Bayley's lack of reaction. Bayley wins with an elbow drop, and that was pretty much it. Didn't need to happen. Don't know why this match couldn't happen on SmackDown Live if you wanted to do it, because Bayley is a part of SmackDown Live. Having her on Monday Night Raw and have her be the only one to come over from, I guess, Heavy Machinery. But even that, I don't even give a shit. This match should have happened on SmackDown Live if you wanted it to be logical. Because that whole Sasha Banks thing doesn't really sit well with me. Like, you can have Bayley on Monday Night Raw and then have no interaction with Sasha Banks whatsoever when Sasha Banks left her high and dry for 4 months following WrestleMania. This match should have happened on SmackDown Live, and if not, should have never happened at all. We have a tag team turmoil match. Tag team turmoil match, folks. This is WWE's version of burying the entire division. So the Viking Raiders come out, and they also get no reaction whatsoever. But again, this is WWE's fault. This is what happens when you change their name from NXT to the main roster when they did not need a name change. Then you change their name again because the original name that you came up with for their main roster debut was so god-awful that it was a meme worldwide, and it was critically just shit on worldwide. And now, because of that, which I'm sure is the case, WWE has a dead tag team in Ivar and Eric, Hanson and Rowe, the War Raiders. Move these guys back down to NXT and please save their careers. Because if this continues and their contracts are coming up, AEW's tag team division is going to be absolutely unstoppable. I don't know when their contracts are up, but I'm assuming they signed 3-year deals. They've been with WWE now for about a year and a half, almost 2 years. They cannot have much longer on their current deal. And if you want to save these guys and salvage whatever's fucking left of them, move them down to NXT. Or move them up, I should say. Graduate them to NXT, because NXT is going to be one of the 3 brands that we see Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. They're a legit 3rd brand now that they're going live on the USA Network. So I think it's a promotion to go to NXT. NXT instantly became the number 1 brand on WWE's television every single week. Move them back down to NXT, really. Because their tag team division needs it, and the War Raiders definitely need it. Because they're suffering right now. B-Team, they beat the B-Team in 1 minute with a Viking experience, a.k.a. Thor's Hammer, which sounds so much cooler, but nothing is cool about the WWE main roster. Then we get the Viking Raiders, the War Raiders, whatever the fuck you want to call them, against the OC. And this went, I think, about 2 minutes. And this ended up being a double DQ because both teams were just going at it, just disobeying the referee's orders. And at this point, this tag team turmoil match was completely irrelevant. Completely irrelevant. You have a team like the War Raiders in this thing, and they are not your first choice to win this entire thing. There were reports that Vince McMahon doesn't like the War Raiders for whatever reason. So please, I'd love for somebody to explain to me, if Vince doesn't like the War Raiders, why the fuck did you call them up? Triple H likes them, clearly. They were running the tag team division left and right down there. Then they get into Vince McMahon's hands and he doesn't like them for whatever reason. Why? Why? The B-Team are fucking tag team champions. The B-Team are tag team champions. They had a tag team title reign over the fucking Viking Raiders. You mean to tell me the War Raiders are not worthy of a tag team title reign? Double DQ between Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. This was awful. Absolutely awful. And it doesn't make Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows look good either, because they were put in this thing to try and get back the tag team titles, and they just came off as stupid. Instead of trying to win the whole thing, they want to brawl and get themselves DQ'd. Now they get no tag team title rematch. Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler. 2 losers paired together. I've never seen someone so undeserving in recent memory than Dolph Ziggler. Everywhere you look, the guy either has a title match or a title opportunity. I've never seen someone lose so much on television to a point where he's getting a title match every single opportunity he has. It is completely just ridiculous. Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler beat the Lucha House Party. It was Lince Dorado and Gran Metalik in 3 minutes. This happened when Ziggler hit Lince Dorado with a super kick on a back elbow attempt. Who gives a shit? Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler then versus the Revival, Dash and Dawson. Dash and Dawson were already announced in the SmackDown Live Tag Team title match for Clash of Champions against the New Day. So, A, why are they here in this match? And B, what would make you think that they would even come close to winning this match? Yet WWE is booking the best show possible. Yet this was the best Raw of all time. This was the best Raw of the year, right? There wasn't anything to complain about on this Raw. What are they doing in this match? When they already have a tag team title match at Clash of Champions against the New Day. Now, I don't know if you're thinking the same thing I'm thinking, but I'm just showing you exactly how stupid WWE creative is. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Roode pinned Dawson clean. Then we get Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler versus Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins. I'll give you one guess as to who won this fall. Then we got Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler versus Heavy Machinery. This went the longest of every fall. This went to Ziggler and Roode in 7 minutes. They earn a WWE Raw Tag Team title match at Clash of Champions. So we had Heavy Machinery set up Roode for their trash compactor. Ziggler intervened here with a super kick. Ziggler then gave Tucker a zigzag onto Otis. And then Roode gave Tucker his glorious DDT for the win. And Ziggler and Roode win 4 matches in their first ever nights of teaming together and get a tag team title match at Clash of Champions. So the simple fact that Dolph Ziggler is a loser and continues to lose, yet he gets tag team matches, tag team title matches, WWE title matches, Intercontinental Championship matches, whatever, is a moot point. We know that Dolph Ziggler is a loser. What I don't understand is that you have Bobby Roode and Chad Gable as a tag team who were finally developing some momentum for themselves and finally looked like a legit tag team. You break them up for Bobby Roode to sit in catering for months, and then you move Chad Gable to SmackDown Live. Bobby Roode then reemerges with a mustache that got more over than anything, and everybody was looking at Bobby Roode as a revitalized talent. Oh my God, finally we can have a glorious heel like we've seen in NXT. That fell flat on its face. WWE had him shave the mustache because the mustache was getting too popular. Chad Gable moved over to SmackDown Live. He didn't do anything on SmackDown Live. They moved him to 205 Live. And he didn't really do anything over there as far as Cruiserweight Championship anyway. Now he's on SmackDown Live in the King of the Ring tournament, and I can only hope that the tournament is a good showcase for Chad Gable because he's too good for it not to be a showcase. So, what I'm trying to say here is WWE had Bobby Roode and Chad Gable here as a tag team. They got rid of them. They broke them up. For them to both do nothing, only to have Bobby Roode team up with another loser in Dolph Ziggler and then become a tag team again with Dolph Ziggler out of nowhere. Then they want to tell you in a Bobby Roode promo that this tag team wasn't created on some fluke or a whim. Yes, it was. This was WWE telling you, hi, we don't have anything else to put on this portion of the show, so we're going to give you a worthless tag team turmoil match with a tag team that makes no sense, and we're going to fill X amount of time. WWE absolutely buried the tag team division tonight in typical WWE fashion, and I'm sick and tired of it. I really am sick and tired of it. WWE has a tag team title match at Clash of Champions between Braun Strowman and Seth Rollins defending the Raw Tag Team Championships against Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode. 2 tag teams that aren't tag teams. You are shitting all over your current tag teams right now that are legit tag teams. This is not the way to build up tag team wrestling. This is not the way to build up the tag team division by putting notable names in the division and putting them against other notable names who in this case are 2 fucking losers. This is not the way to go about it. You want tag team wrestling to be prominent on these shows? Then legitimately book the War Raiders versus the Revival and let them go out there in a barn burner and tear the house down. You want the Usos to go in there with the War Raiders, have them tear the house down. You want the New Day to go in there with Heavy Machinery, have them tear the house down. Or better yet, have the Street Profits come out of this bullshit that they're in and wow us with their athleticism and their charisma in the ring as a legitimate tag team. Or better yet, I'm going to sound like a broken fucking record. How about this? Why don't you merge the tag teams and the tag team divisions and get rid of both titles and create just one title? Because what you're doing right now is a downright embarrassment to not only tag team wrestling, but the tag team division. How do you think the legitimate tag teams are feeling right now to see the tag team titles defended on Monday Night Raw with two teams that aren't even tag teams? I know if I'm the War Raiders, I know if I'm the Revival, I know if I'm Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder, I know if I'm the Ascension. Where the fuck is AOP? How about that one? I don't get the logic. I don't get how any of this makes sense. And I might be sitting here being too hard on the product, but you have to understand that nothing makes sense. This is not even a match that generates any interest. Why the fuck do I want to see Dolph Ziggler and Seth Rollins in the ring again? After we were overexposed by both of them in the ring over the IC title just a year ago. How would anyone find any interest in Bobby Roode against Braun Strowman or Dolph Ziggler against Braun Strowman in any sense of the word? I don't get it. I don't understand it. And AEW, you know, people, every time I mention AEW, people are like, oh, JD's trying to hype up AEW and make them seem better than they really are. I don't need to do that. WWE makes AEW look better every single week just simply by their actions every single week. By every counter move that they do, they make AEW look better. AEW's tag team division is absolutely on fire, and they haven't even had one weekly show yet. All you need to do is watch All Out and see what I'm talking about. Watch the Best Friends versus the Dark Order and how they let both of those teams go out there in a prominent role, because the winner of that match is going to receive a bye in the tag team tournament. I called the Young Bucks and Private Party. I know what both of those teams are capable of. I seen it at the commentary desk, and we're going to see it again on the second week of AEW television. Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy, they were over as fuck at Fight for the Fallen. Then you got, who else you got in the tag team division? You got SCU, you got the Lucha Brothers, you got the Young Bucks. What is it going to take for WWE to actually get on board with tag team wrestling? When they see AEW's tag team tournament tear the house down on TNT, is that when they're going to get on board? Because at that point, WWE will only be succumbing to AEW again. Oh, look at what they're doing, now we have to do the same. Which in turn would make WWE following the leader. They're not the innovator anymore. That would make WWE a blind sheep in this war. Oh, we got to do what AEW is doing. They're going to follow the leader. Because right now, AEW is the leader in tag team wrestling. And at that point, how much respect do you have for WWE when they can't really be the innovators anymore in something that is so simple as far as tag team wrestling is concerned? Ridiculous. WWE killed Ronda Rousey because they announced Ronda Rousey would be a cast member on Total Divas. Yeah, exactly what I want. A legitimate badass in Ronda Rousey now showcased on Total Divas. Ronda Rousey lost all of her legitimacy just for the simple fact that WWE needs ratings for a dying reality show. Sasha Banks versus Natalya. This went 4 minutes. This was as good as a 4-minute match could be. Natalya tapped out with the bank statement applied, and that was pretty much it. And the injured arm came into play as Sasha yanked her injured arm across her chin, and Natalya tapped out from the bank statement. Sasha Banks actually took a very vicious German suplex, release German suplex, which she sold very well, but every time Sasha Banks falls on her neck, I gasp for air. Because the woman just doesn't know anything better but to entertain and completely just be in there and act selfless. You gotta be careful. You can't be doing those things every single time you're in the ring. Take it easy. It's only a TV match with Natalya. Sasha wins in 4 minutes. Not really all that entertaining. Natalya is just channel-changing garbage, as far as I'm concerned. We had Cedric Alexander versus Cesaro here. This was great. 12 minutes. Again, the crowd wasn't as hot as I expected it to be for this type of match. I don't know what New Orleans was thinking, but you actually had two great matches on this show, and they gave nothing back to these guys whatsoever. Cedric Alexander wins here with a beautiful lumbar check. The story of the match was Cedric's legs and his knee. So that was pretty much the story there. They battled back and forth. Cesaro concentrating on Cedric's legs, half crabs, a sharpshooter. Cedric came back with a lumbar check for the win. And I don't know how this is going to factor in. Maybe this is going to factor into Cedric Alexander's quest to become King of the Ring. Maybe they're going to use this. I hope. Because that's exactly what I would do. Cedric Alexander went out there, he proved himself in the King of the Ring tournament by winning his first round match. And he's in this hard-fought match with Cesaro. And I hope that they take whatever story was told here and carry it on into the tournament, because that would be a great way for people to sympathize with Cedric Alexander going on into the tournament. He won his first round match. He had this brutal match with Cesaro. He now has an injured leg, and I would like people to sympathize with Cedric. Can he get the job done now against Baron Corbin with an injured leg in the second round of the King of the Ring tournament? We'll see. We'll see how logical WWE is here if they take one instance and just have it move over to the following week. I only hope so, because that's what I would do. That's what I would do, and it's Wrestling 101. Simple pro wrestling. WWE usually fucks up on that type of thing, but we'll see what happens. They show clips of Elias at a Fox event last week when Drake Maverick showed up. R-Truth rolled Elias up to win the 24/7 title again. Drake was then caught in a barrage of footballs being thrown at him. Truth then scored a basket before chasing Drake off because he wanted the 24/7 title back. And Truth was there chatting with some hosts on the set of Fox College Football. One of the hosts, I hope that this shit dies completely. One of the hosts, Rob Stone, pinned R-Truth with a roll-up. I think R-Truth tripped over himself, landed on some AstroTurf, and then Rob Stone pinned him and became the 24/7 champion. I'm glad that this stuff has graduated now from the TV shows to nothing but highlights in a video package. Keep it that way, because this shit is god-awful, and it makes the show all that much worse. So I'm glad that they have finally listened to me on something and kept it to video packages and YouTube, Instagram, Twitter only. It doesn't belong on the show. So they interviewed Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode. She asked how this team came together. Sarah Strieber, by the way. Asked how this team came together. Ziggler says that he saw a twinkle in Roode's eye. It was a twinkle of a loser. It was a twinkle of someone who had enough mashed potatoes in Titus Catering. And he wants everyone else in the locker room to feel the way he does. He wants someone who wants to go out there and get the job done. So they kind of gravitated towards each other because of that twinkle. He said Braun Strowman and Seth Rollins will face each other first and then defend against them later because we're the cream of the crop. He said they won't be in any good mood, or they won't be in any mood to work together by then. Roode said that they are the most talented and best-looking tag team in WWE. So, I'm wondering what this new tag team will be called. The Glorious Complainers? It should have been Glorious? I don't know. Only time will tell. I don't give a shit. They're two losers who are getting a tag team title shot for absolutely no reason over other legit tag teams in the WWE. AJ Styles versus Braun Strowman, United States Championship match. This one went 12 minutes, believe it or not. Believe it or not, it went 12 minutes. AJ Styles retains the United States Championship here as Braun Strowman got himself DQ'd because the referee got knocked out. We had Strowman running around because that's all he could do is run around and shoulder tackle everybody. Strowman knocked the referee out by accident. He knocked him off the ring apron, I believe, or he knocked him through the ropes. He was on the outside out cold. So then that gave the opening to Anderson and Gallows to run out and attack Braun. Braun fought them all off. Then he hit Anderson and Gallows with a steel chair brought into the ring that AJ Styles brought into the ring. Styles saw Braun, whatever. Styles saw Braun Strowman had the chair. Referee was coming to. And AJ Styles pulls an Eddie Guerrero, and he faints. And Braun Strowman standing there like an idiot with the steel chair in hand. Referee sees this. What are you doing? What are you doing? Did you hit him? He's out cold. I didn't see it, so I'm going to have to call what I see right now. You got a chair in your hand, and Styles is knocked out. Braun's cursing. They're bleeping him out. Referee at no point looked that Gallows and Anderson were outside, laid out by a steel chair. They were there while they were supposed to be barred from ringside, so the referee didn't really look at that aspect of it. He just DQ'd Braun Strowman, and AJ Styles retained the United States Championship here as he saw Braun Strowman with the chair, and Braun Strowman's protesting. This is bullshit. This is bullshit. The referee said he heard the chair shots. Of course he did. At this point, I'm glad that he did because I don't want to see Braun Strowman have the United States Championship on top of the Tag Team Championship. Renee said that's garbage, which is a clear symbolism as to how this show ended up. That's garbage. The one thing that I agree with all night, probably in her commentary career for the first time ever, that I agree with Renee Young, that's garbage. Clear symbolism for this Monday Night Raw episode. Braun Strowman took his frustrations out on Styles, Gallows, and Anderson. He nailed them all with steel chairs. He power slammed Gallows, he power slammed Styles, and he power slammed Anderson. And then he picked up the United States title, and the show went off the air. Show started off decent with Sasha Banks, fell flat after that promo. Really had a great match with Drew McIntyre and Ricochet, and the show died a miserable death after that. With Cedric Alexander and Cesaro giving you another great wrestling match on Monday Night Raw, but it was not enough to save this awful edition of Raw on Monday. I don't know what else to tell you, man. WWE right now, you know, in a time when pro wrestling is at its peak, after all these years, with AEW coming into the fray and All Out happening on Saturday nights, all eyes are going to be on AEW. WWE is doing themselves no favor at all by putting on a show like this. Because it's only going to reinstate the fact that WWE right now is continuing to put on garbage shows while AEW is grabbing the eyeballs and the ears and the attention of literally everybody. You should be coming out here with all guns blazing. You should be coming out here proud of the show that you are putting on. Proud of the talent that you have on these shows to put on a good show. Meanwhile, this is the product that we're ending up with after 3 hours. And I don't expect anything better for SmackDown Live because SmackDown Live has not been good at all. You've gotten by with the Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan storyline and maybe a King of the Ring match over there. I'm excited for Buddy Murphy and Mustafa Ali, but is that going to be enough to carry tomorrow's show? No. WWE is doing themselves no favors. With AEW happening on Saturday night with All Out, this is the show that we got. They're making AEW look all that much more attractive. Because this show sucked. If you said that this Raw was good by any means, you're an idiot. This show did not do anything to get you excited about Clash of Champions. At all. Outside of the King of the Ring, Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live, outside of the King of the Ring and Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan, this show is offering you nothing of interest. Nothing. Vince McMahon clearly was back in the fray because I didn't sense anything changing on this show whatsoever. I'm getting out of here, guys. Thank you so very much for all your supports. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure you hit that thumbs up down below. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206 on Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. Make sure you guys check out the videos that you might have missed this weekend, man. My thoughts on Jon Moxley missing AEW All Out. The match with Omega canceled. Pac versus Omega is now on. And why it might be a blessing in disguise for AEW. YouTube premiere on Wednesday with Super Mario Maker 2. If that catches your eye or interest in any way, join me on Wednesday for YouTube premiere. And Vince McMahon set to step away from WWE if the Fox Sports and USA deals with NXT are stable. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. But if you missed any of that stuff, guys, link will be down for all of them in the comment section below. ridge.com/script. Use code script at checkout. And I will see you guys right back here on Tuesday night for SmackDown Live. Until then, guys, thank you so very much. Hit that thumbs up, and I'll see you right back here on Tuesday night for SmackDown Live as we get Buddy Murphy versus Mustafa Ali. And, man, I'm excited about that one. I'll see you guys then.